Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Sekali lagi, apa kabar Bapak Ibu? Hello, good afternoon ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the IFRA Hybrid Business Expo in conjunction with ELI 2022. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you in our event and also thank you for joining us our exhibition. Dan juga good afternoon ladies and gentlemen who are joining us at Zoom. Dan I'm Subki Abdul, I'm your host today for our APFC Education Webinar with the topic Why and How to Enter Indonesia Market. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our webinar today, let me introduce our first speaker, or let me introduce to our discussion with all the speakers. The Chairman of Asosiasi Franchise Indonesia atau AFI, Mr. Anang Sukandar will give a welcome speech. Mr. Anang, please join the stage with some words.
Good afternoon, everybody. Especially on this occasion, I would like to welcome all the members of the Asia Pacific Franchise Confederation to join this program, which is a program from the APFC. They call it the Priority Education Program. We hope that all the members, my colleague from all the other associations in the Asia Pacific Franchise Confederation will join this webinar on education and how to enter the Indonesian market. So that is the title of this seminar, of the webinar. So I hope you will enjoy that and make notes whatever you want to do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please give big applause for Mr. Anang Sukandar, the Chairman of Asosiasi Franchise Indonesia atau AFI. Thank you very much, Bapak. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start our webinar today, let me introduce our first speaker. This is Mr. BJ Wijayanto, CEO Bandward Consulting. Please come to the stage, Mr. BJ Wijayanto. And the next speaker, we have Mr. Andrew Nugroho as a CEO of PT Food Indonesia. Let's join us, Mr. Andrew. And also the last one we have coming from online or Zoom, this Mr. Yance Wongso as a CEO of PT Biru Semesta Abadi. Mr. Yance Wongso, can you hear us here in Jakarta?
Yes, good afternoon, everybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yance. And how are you feeling today? Is it good?
Yeah, feel great.
Ready for giving an educational talking session for the APFC member, right?
Yes, that's right. Excited too.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Let me giving a note that every speaker has their own topic. Start with Mr. BJ, who will giving a topic about investment and potentially and franchise regulation in Indonesia. And the next from Mr. Andrew Nugroho who will giving a topic about best practice of franchise operation in Indonesia is food and beverage franchise. And the last one, Mr. Yance Wongso will giving a topic about best practice of franchise operation in Indonesia in retail and service franchise. And then, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, dear our speaker, the stage is yours.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening for our colleagues from Australia and New Zealand. and good morning for the uh, participant from Turkey, and good afternoon for all online participants from Asian countries. This afternoon, I will give you some information about the potentiality of doing business in Indonesia. Actually, franchise potentiality and regulation in Indonesia. Uh, for the next. So, welcome to Indonesia. Some of you maybe have already been to Bali. Yeah, Bali is part of the best place in Indonesia. Some of you maybe last March going to Mandalika for MotoGP. Yeah, and this is the new and I think also the best circuit for MotoGP. Yeah, some of you maybe already go to Borobudur, as the the largest Buddhist temple in the world, and it also in Indonesia. And of course, Jakarta is the capital city of Indonesia. Welcome to Indonesia. Next. The geographic of Indonesia, we have actually Indonesia have more than 17,000 islands. Yeah, from Jakarta to the eastest city takes about 6 hours flight, direct flight, and the westest place city in Indonesia, it takes about 2 hours flight time. And we have 10 metropolitan areas. Jakarta, for instance, yeah, the metropolitan area is a city with connected with many city in the surrounding, yeah, with the population more than 2.5 million. For instance, Jakarta itself, the metropolitan of Jakarta, the population is more than 30 million. So I will give you the green stars is actually the future capital city of Indonesia, called Nusantara in Kalimantan or Borneo. It's about 2 hours flight time from Jakarta. Starting last year, the government still preparing to develop, to build the city, and starting 2025 to 24, the government will gradually moving to Nusantara, and maybe 5 or 10 years later, about 2.5 or 3 million people will move to that metropolitan area. And of course, there are many cities in Indonesia. In Indonesia, we have about 25 or 30 cities with more than 500,000 people. Yeah. Regarding the demographic population, Indonesia have 270 million people based on 2020 census. Yeah. Most of all, about 57% of them live in urban area. And then religion. You may know that Indonesia is a Muslim country, but there we have five major religion. Yeah. 86% is Muslim, maybe around 7 to 8% is Protestantism, and Catholic about 3%. The other is Hinduism and Buddhism is the rest. Regarding the education in Indonesia, about more than 50 million from the population is student from elementary to higher or university. So the student, it is the potential market for business like a franchise. Workforce in Indonesia now we have about 130 million people working for informal and formal sectors. Then the economy. What is the economy? The GDP currently we grow. Today the government released the officially information that second quarter of this year, the GDP growth is 5.4%. It is more than we predict before that only 5.0%. So Indonesia have growth. I think one of the high growth in the world. But then monetary exchange rates in Indonesia, IDR is about 15,000 per US dollar currently. But the interest rates from interest rate from central bank as a reference is already maintained more than 1 year. It's about only 3.5. It is a decline that before is higher. And about the stock market, the IDX index is today is more than 7,000, and the trend is positive, growing. Also the bond, even government or corporate, is still stagnant. Means that investor actually see that Indonesia is still potential to put their money to be invested in a business. Next is the consumption. Our GDP consumption is more than 50% of GDP come from private consumption. Actually, it is not quite good, But for this condition that in the world economy, we are blessing that private consumption is more than 5%, 50%. So it will be the locomotive to drive the economy. Next, about the spending capacity, we see that the spending of people in Indonesia more about telecommunication, education, hotel and restaurant, and food and drink. This 4 sectors growing fast, and the right chart is spending in retail. That in the beginning of pandemic period 2020, I think every country is contracted, But after that, Delta last year in Indonesia, July to June to August have a Delta, but the contraction is very small, and this year is growing. So the spending of retail sector in Indonesia is very good. Next, and second, how about the spending of the tertiary product? The tertiary product like gadget, yeah. The gadget sales of gadget in Indonesia increased 11.5% since last year from all of the brand, yeah. And automotive. The automotive is increased. We see that currently is already recovering. It's recovery, yeah. Already same with before pandemic. Next. So in franchise, your business franchise in Indonesia, what sector are potential? First sector is food and beverage, hospitality, restaurant, cafe, food food corner, drink corner. Yeah, I think it is the fastest growing of business in Indonesia. Many drink corner in everywhere, in small or big street. Cafe restaurant, new cafe restaurant is every month. Maybe there are many of new restaurant open. And the second is grocery of daily needs, like mini market, convenience stores. Yeah, it's also the second sector that have the high possibility to be open in Indonesia. And the third, actually, the third is education. But yeah, during the pandemic period, education business, especially for children education, the parents restrict their kid to publicly. So for the pandemic period, education sector is not too potential. But the fourth in this sheet is the third is the health and body care, yeah, skin care, dental care, massage for reflexology, barbershop, haircuts. Yeah. It's very potential. And the last is household service, laundry, house cleaning, plumbing for household. Yeah. So I think we have at least four sector that very potential to be open in Indonesia. Next. Now, how about digital literacy of the Indonesian people? First, the use of gadget or they use online ordering like Shopee Food, GoFood, Grab Food. Many restaurants, maybe more than 50% of restaurant, their sales come more from online order. So every people in metropolitan area, even in a small city, yeah, already familiar to order food by online ordering. Second is digital payment. The digital payment, people also familiar to pay the shop in restaurant, online or offline, in marketplace online. Yeah. They pay with a digital currency, digital payment like OVO, Shopee Pay, GoPay, Dana, and many others in Indonesia. Many. The third is pay later. It's about like digital credit card. Yeah. Credit for home credit, Ceria, Indo, and many others. They it like a credit card, so they can shop and then pay, and then they pay, yeah, or the enter the day on maybe in installment 3 month, 6 month, or 12 month. Yeah, it's many in Indonesia. Not only that the logo I put in the slide. Yeah. And the other is the crowdfunding platform. Somehow, actually, this application, this platform, somehow it's like competing with franchise, because some of people in Indonesia with only 5 million is about 200 or 300 dollars. They can invest for mini market, yeah, mini market through crowdfunding. Back. Through crowdfunding, yeah, through crowdfunding. But some of platform, they synergize with franchise. So like in this also this exhibition, I saw B-Share. Yeah. So they recruit the franchisor as the object to drive the crowdfunding. So I think it is also the potentiality of franchise in Indonesia, that they can be the merchant of the crowdfunding platform. Now, I will share you about the franchise regulation. How if you from overseas countries, especially member of APFC, how to enter Indonesia? First, you should register your intellectual property. Trademark should be legally registered in Indonesia. So it is the first step. Yeah. And if you have the certificate of not a certificate actually, the registration letter that you are in the process of registering the trademark, you can already register your prospectus from overseas, yeah, in Ministry of Trade. The process of registering is also online, yeah, through online single submission. Yeah. So when you are still outside of Indonesia, you can register your prospectus. It indicates that you are a franchisor. And the second, after you have the registration letter from our Ministry of Trade, you can then prospecting the potential franchisees until signing the agreement. And after your franchisee sign the agreements, then they should register the agreement to the Ministry of Trade again. So after that, they can legally operate the outlet of your franchise. So I think it is the flow of franchise regulation that can be followed in Indonesia. Yeah. But the regulation of franchise in Indonesia is actually the latest regulation is very open. Yeah. Not very complicated like maybe 10 or 15 years ago. Yeah. Next. So other issues in Indonesia, the first is halal. Yeah, since Indonesia is majority Muslim, we are Muslim country. Yeah, so the product should have the especially for food. Yeah, should have the certificate of halal, certificate of halal from the Ministry of Health, oh, Ministry of Religion. Yeah. So the first is halal, and the second business rhythm. In Indonesia, we have a rhythm from January to December. That January is actually in the holiday, New Year. For some sector, is the have a windfall. Yeah. And after that, the milestone is Ramadan is a fasting month, and the Idul Fitri festival is for this year is in April and May, and next year maybe from March to April. Yeah. So it is the fasting month, and Idul Fitri festival is actually usually for most of business sector is high season. Food and beverage, retail, travel is a high season. And then the December is again Christmas and New Year's is also the peak season of the business. It is actually the business rhythm in Indonesia. So the third issue is wages disparity. That in Indonesia, minimum wage are depend by the local government, yeah, local residents. Yeah. So Jakarta, for instance, is about 300 US dollar per month, the minimum wage. Yeah, but in city in maybe like Semarang or maybe Malang is only 200 US dollar per month. So you have to know in which city the outlet will be open, and then the minimum wage will be calculated as a financial projection. And the other is local taxation. Food, restaurant, cafe have especially sales tax in a local government. So built by a local government. Yeah. Is about 10% of the sales. But for the maybe the spa, wellness, yeah, some city, some residents even charge more than 20% of sales. So you have to know the taxation for the specific sector which open your franchise outlet. So the last, F, support from association. So AVI is happily to help you, to assist you, especially for you are from the member from IPFC countries. Yeah. I think it's very good if you will enter Indonesia to the association will support you with the general information that will give you more information about our market in Indonesia. I think it is all that I want to share to you about the potentiality and regulation of franchise regulation in Indonesia. Thank you very much.
Okay, please give big applause for Mr. BJ Wijayanto, who already giving some perspective. And then the next one, second speaker, Mr. Andrew Nugroho, CEO PT Top Food Indonesia.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay?
Yes, also, of course.
Okay. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to share with you how happy I am to be able to sit here, talk to so many people, so many old friends. You know, we can talk about business ideas, business opportunities again after 2 years being inactive, stagnant. Over the 2 years, we only could think about how to save our company, our businesses. But now I'm so happy to be here. I don't know the online participants. I don't know if you can see. Here we are in the IFRA franchise exhibition in Jakarta. There are thousands of people, you know, from different walks of life, coming here to see business opportunities, franchise opportunities. You can see the energy, and it's good. It's good. It's very positive. So I'm very happy to see this again. Well, my name is Andrew Nugroho. I am director of PT Top Food Indonesia. Our main brand is the SLR77. It's a local grown fast food, Indonesian fast food brand. It was founded by my grandparents and my parents 40 years ago. So thank God we saved the company from going down over the pandemic. Before COVID, we had about 180 stores all over Indonesia, but now we are down to 60 stores. So we had to close down many of our outlets because most of them were in shopping malls. But thank God we survived, and it's time for us to rebuild the business again because the opportunities are still there. Now I'd like to share with you the opportunities and how to enter Indonesian F&B market. Well, if somebody asked me, how good F&B business here in Indonesia, you can just simply see the population of Indonesia. It is up to 270 million. So basically, there are 270 million stomachs to feed every day, 3 times a day, and all year round. So there are so many people looking for food every day, and it's growing. The population is growing, and the younger generation, the millennials, the children populations are also growing. So, but don't take the 270 million as the same type of people, because Indonesia is made up of so many islands geographically. We have we have thousands of islands, so the population is spread out, and also we have different ethnicities, you know, with different dialects in different areas of Indonesia. So in people in different areas have different lifestyles, different preferences, different taste of food. You know, in some area people prefer sweeter food, you know, and some other areas people prefer more spicy food. So when you want to bring your business or your product to Indonesia, you really have to do your research before you come to Indonesia. You can do some testing, food testing with the local people in the area where you want to enter. Yeah, and also I also would like to share with you the adaptation of technology. I mean, you know, the pandemic really helped the adaptation of technology, especially the mobile phone technology in the F&B business. You know, as I said to you before, the millennials age group is one of the biggest one, and they are the biggest consumers of F&B. Obviously, they are very tech savvy. Indonesia has, I think it's about 200 million internet users. So it's the fourth biggest internet users in the world. So that's about 80% of the population use the internet, and most of them are on mobile phones. So during the pandemic, of course, a lot of the transactions for F&B were on the mobile phones, and also it helped with the emergence of the super apps like the GoTo apps, the Grab apps, Shopee apps, and also the Traveloka. So there are four major apps for food ordering in Indonesia. The first one is GoFood. The second one is GrabFood. The third one is Shopee Food, and the fourth one is Traveloka Eats. So the other two, the last two, like the Shopee Food and the Traveloka Eats, they came around just during the pandemic. The Traveloka Eats were originally an online ticketing apps, but then during the pandemic, they introduced the new feature for ordering food as well. They called it Traveloka Eats. So those four are the major food online ordering apps. But like Pak BJ said, there are also digital payments that dominate the countries, like the GoPay, the OVO, and the others. I mean, as an F&B player, it's good to utilize all those platforms, but you just need to be careful. When you sign the agreements with them, you really need to read the fine prints, you know, because although maybe you agreed on a basic rate for commission fee in 20% commission fee, but that's only the basic rate. There are other fees, other expenses that they will charge you for different promotions, for different features in the apps. So, like for example, I calculated our sales reports on one of the platforms. Originally, we agreed on like 20%, but at the end, when you average out the cost, it turned out to be just over 30%. So you really have to read the fine prints. You have to really do the detailed calculations. Yeah, and and also the different apps have different strength in different areas of Indonesia. GoFood may be good in one part of Indonesia, but GrabFood may be stronger on the other part of the Indonesia. So you really have to check on those things. And my last point about halal certification. Well, it is necessary. It's a must if you really want to target the Muslim market. You know, if your product is non-halal, then you don't need to apply for the halal certificate. You know, like Pak BJ in his presentation, he showed that 15% of the Indonesian population are non-Muslims. So if your product, you want to target that market, 15% from 270 million is still quite a big population. It's bigger than many countries, like Albert's countries maybe. So if you want to target that segment, you don't need to apply for halal. But if you want to target the majority of the population, yes, of course, you need to apply for the halal certificate. Our products, of course, are targeted towards the Muslims, or I mean the product, the majority of the Indonesian population. So we are halal certified. Okay, so I think that's all I want to share with you for now. And thank you very much for the time. And good to see you all again. Bye-bye.
Yes, please give a applause for Mr. Andrew Nugroho, who will give the perspective from the food and beverage franchise and why and how to enter Indonesia market. And the last one is coming from Mr. Yance Wongso, who will giving a topic about best practice of franchise operation in Indonesia, which is in retail and also in service franchise. Mr. Yance, can you start your presentation or?
Okay, thank you for the time. Hello everybody, good afternoon. My name is Yance Wongso. I'd like to present the topic of developing franchise business in Indonesia. Business model that works. Actually, I presented this topic in the European Society for Quality Research, the ESQR conference in Dubai in December 2021, last year. This is the updated version of the presentation. Okay, let me share the screen. Okay, let me talk about the background of my business that I founded in 2002. Biru Water Store, or Biru in short, is a retail store that sells drinking water with refill concept. Customers come to the store with their own 19-liter bottle, which is then cleaned and sterilized by the store operator to be filled with Biru drinking water that has been processed according to good health standards, good fresh taste, ready to drink straight away. The price of Biru drinking water varies depending on the location of the store, with the current highest price being 8,000 Indonesian rupiah, equal to about 53 cents US dollar per 19 liters. That is very, very, very cheap. Okay. The first Biru store opened in 2002 in Surabaya, Indonesia. And the first store for franchise pilot project opened a year later in 2003. By the time we introduced the franchise model to the general public in 2006, the business had grown to a total of 7 stores, 4 self-owned and 3 pilot project franchise. With these 7 stores, Biru franchise was officially launched under PT Biru Semesta Abadi, a limited liability company, as the franchisor. Fast forward 20 years later, as of June 2022, Biru has expanded its network to 691 stores spread across 43 cities in Indonesia. We also have 1 research and development store in Sacramento, California, United States of America. The estimated current valuation of asset of Biru franchise is about 1 to 2 trillion Indonesian rupiah, equal to about 66 to 133 million US dollar. And the total sales in 2022 is projected to reach 1.3 billion liters, equal to about 341 million gallons. The selling point of Indonesia, I may repeat some of the information that given by Mr. BJ and Mr. Andrew. Indonesia, located in Southeast Asia, is the largest archipelagic country in the world with 17,000 islands, of which only 7,000 are inhabited. Java, Sumatra, Sulawesi, Kalimantan, Papua are names of the 5 largest islands in the country. In addition, there are the islands of Bali and Lombok that you may be familiar with, which are very popular local and international tourist destinations. Indonesia is one of the largest countries in the world with total area covering land and sea of over 5 million square kilometers and land area of close to 2 million square kilometers. With about 271 million people, Indonesia is the world's 4th most populous country after China that has 1,413 million people, India 1,385 million people, and the United States of America 337 million. We face challenges in developing a franchise business in Indonesia that I will explain. In the process of developing Biru franchise business plan in 2004 to 2006, I was asked a difficult question, namely, why, as an entrepreneur, would I choose a franchise business format to expand my company? This question is very fundamental, and it got me thinking long and hard about the consequences of choosing to franchise Biru. Why is it? Franchise business requires cooperative effort between one franchisor and many franchisees. As an illustration, as of June 2022, Biru franchise recorded a total of 248 franchisees. For such partnership to work, it is necessary for parties to bind themselves to each other through a franchise agreement. In the event of a dispute between the parties, franchise agreement becomes the main reference point. It provides written evidence of what parties have agreed upon at the beginning of the relationship. Sometimes dispute might end up in court. However, due to inefficiencies in the country's legal system, going to court in Indonesia is often not even considered an option for entrepreneurs. As such, risk of litigation from dealing with many franchisees instinctively discourage business people from adopting the franchise model. Entrepreneurs like myself certainly have the options to grow their businesses in ways other than franchising. A chain business, for example, a business that opens many branches and have their operation managed and controlled by a centralized office, can be a realistic and profitable option. A chain business is corporate owned, meaning that the company owns and operates all of the stores. There are already many examples of successful chain businesses in Indonesia. A business model that works. In the end, I was able to find answer for the fundamental why question I received. I decided to develop a franchise business in Indonesia with a vision to share success with franchisees. Success is the gift that the franchisor gives to the franchisees. If the franchisee in various possible situations and conditions with the gift given by the franchisor, it will be a loss for the franchisee, him or herself. For the franchisor who has given a genuine gift, there may be disappointment and measurable loss, but long-term performance of the company will ultimately be unimpacted. This seemingly simple success-sharing business model later became the basis of the development of various criteria and procedures for the recruitment of franchisees, marketing and sales, preparation of the franchise agreement, conflict resolution policies, and all other bureau franchise systems that help ensure franchisees are happy to receive gifts from franchisor. If the franchisee is unhappy, then there is an effective settlement procedure based on this principle, without relying on legal or court processes as primary method. According to Anthony Robbins, the need to share and grow represents humans' ultimate need. As a result of implementing this success-sharing business model, Biru has managed to build a happy group of franchisees. For franchisees who are unsatisfied and remain so, we have established exit procedures that allow for franchisee and franchisor to end relationship properly and safely on best possible terms. The success of the success-sharing business model is reflected in Bureau franchise statistics. As of June 2022, in 20 years of business operations, we have only had 4.35% of our more than 690 stores closed, with most common reason being rental period expiration without possibility of extension, which comprises of 2.89%. Note that zero legal or court cases between franchisee and franchisor had ever been recorded. We believe this is a good indication of happy franchisee, stable business operation, and overall success of Biru franchise. I thank you for your attention. May God bless you all. Thank you. Let me get it back to the host.
Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Yance Wongso, who are giving some presentation or insight how to enter, why and how to enter the Indonesia market based on retail and service franchises. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for still joining us on Zoom. We have already some questions to all the speakers. The first question for Mr. Yance and Mr. Andrew. The question is, what are the basic things to consider in using digital technology in business process? Maybe Mr. Andrew first or Mr. Yance, could you answer the question? What are the basic things to consider in using digital technology in business process?
Yes, we have so many franchises, and we understand that it will take a burden of administration works to process all the information that comes from the franchises and from the stores. That's why this recent year, actually, this 2022, we started as 80 systems in our office. That helps a lot to process all the information very fast. Okay, but because our business is very simple, only selling water in 19 liters product refill system. So we only have one product. Okay, it's very simple. We do not need any technology, digital technology, to process all the transactions in the store. We do manually. It is the fastest means that we do in our stores. So answering the question, the technology, the digital technology we use is actually for the franchisor in the headquarters. But for the store itself, we do not use any technology other than maybe CCTV and so. Okay.
Okay, other than CCTV also. Thank you very much. Then, Mr. Andrew.
Yeah, I think, like I said to you before, most of the Indonesian customers are very tech savvy. They are the customers, the young people. They are very quick in adapting the new apps, new platforms. I think it's a matter, but with so many different companies offering these platforms, it's just between the business our own company and the apps providers, that we really need to agree on those terms specifically. So at the end of the day, although we're getting a lot of customers using one specific platform, but we really have, from the company's point of view, we really have to analyze whether it's profitable or not. So I think that's important. And also another thing that I want to add in the F&B business, what we went through before COVID and during the COVID pandemic and after pandemic, I think it's all different. The consumer behaviors are changing between those phases of the pandemic. During the pandemic, we were getting obviously most of the orders online, but now after the pandemic, people are getting, especially in Indonesia now, the COVID restrictions have been eased. Now there are more people going into the shops and dining in. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andrew. And then the question from Mr. BJ. The question is, how potential it is to invest business in Indonesia? Is it potential, Mr. BJ?
Yes. Okay. I said before that there are four potential sector. The first is food and beverage services, so is restaurant, hotel, food counter, food court, drink corner, something like that is very potential. And the other is and the second is the grocery daily needs. It's a very one of my clients before the pandemic, they average sales is 100%. But since April 2020, it is the first month of pandemic, yeah, increased 300%, three times until now. It is
300%.
300%.
Okay.
Triplet. So the grocery is because people have behavior has changed about how to feed the family. The change. Many people cooking at home, something like that. Yeah. They buy semi-finished product from the grocery stores and then keep in their home. So the two sector is very potential.
Very potential, yeah. And this is since we have a limit time, so I have a closing statement maybe first from Mr. Yancha Wongso, please.
Yeah, I think when we think about Indonesia in terms of franchise opportunities, it is very big. Okay, maybe I can show you recently application of one franchise business that can reach 20,000 stores in Indonesia only. Okay, I think that's opened up our mind that Indonesia is very big market for franchise, and it is very suitable for Indonesian people because the population are spread out to many islands and many cities. I think if you do only chain store or corporate style of doing the business, you cannot control the business quite intimately. A franchisee can do. Okay, that's ideal for franchise business. Operation is managed by the franchisee, and you as the franchisor can give the knowledge and also vision for their operation to support them to success.
Okay, thank you.
The best if you want to enter Indonesia market.
Very big market, and also we have already three province more. It's 37 province now already. And then the next one, closing statement coming from Mr. BJ, please.
Only maybe one sentence. Yeah. Don't be worried if you want to enter Indonesia, if you're for a franchise system, because Indonesia now is one of the most potential countries in the world currently. Yeah. This year, I think. Thank you.
Okay, the last one, Mr. Andrew.
Yeah, I think for our international counterparts, if you want to enter in the Indonesian market, it's a good time to enter now. The economy is recovering very fast. The government has done well to keep the COVID numbers down, and now the energy is here. The businesses are running again as normal, so it's a good time to enter Indonesia. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, all the participants who are joining us on Zoom, via Zoom. And also thank you very much, Mr. Ian Chiwongso from Surabaya. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much, Mr. BJ Wijayanto, Mr. Andrew Nugroho. All right, it doesn't feel like it's been 1 hour since we did this webinar session. Sekali lagi, once again, thank you very much and giving an educational information about why and how to enter Indonesia market. After this, we still have some business presentation from many brands. I'll see you in a minute. Goodbye. Selamat sore. Sampai jumpa.